Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and it is part 10. So we left part 9 off with the Doculum covering, and now we're going to crack on with the tissue covering. So let's bend you down and see what I'm up to. So the Doculum has gone on, just to remind you, that's what it looks like. And I'm going to tissue. Unfortunately, it's just not big enough to go to the full size, but as it's covered in Doculum, I'll just put a patch of it there, no problem at all. So the technique I'm going to use is, I've got my Ronseal water-based varnish here, and I don't want to get it all over the spare tissue for the minute, so I'm going to just put that there like that. I'm in the habit now of wiping all around here before I put the lid on. In that way you get to take the lid off. Right, I'm just going to start in the middle and work my way out to the edges. There we go. The best part about this is it doesn't have to shrink. You don't need shrinking dope or anything on it, because it's just going directly onto, don't like that wrinkle there, it's going directly onto the Doculum, which is already shrunk. So it's just a matter of sticking this on, really. It's going to work reasonably quick because the tissue, once it gets wet, gets very fragile. I'm guessing any water-based varnish would do the trick. Goodness me, don't put on oil-based, will you? That would be a bit of a mess, I think. Water-based is lovely. Means you can wash your brushes out easily as well. There is another technique I used on the Sopwith triplane, and that was to put the damp the tissue. Once it's on, damp it. That might be worth trying. Right, we'll let that dry a bit, guys, and I'll trim around the edge and tidy it up, and then that will be the bottom done. It's only going to have the one coat, and then I'll give it a light coat of lacquer just to seal the water-based stuff against moisture and what have you. There we are, lovely job. I've just trimmed around the edges, guys. Put a new scalpel blade in. When it's wet, it's difficult, but it just slices through it beautifully. So that's drying. But I'm just going to try the wet technique. See if this can. I think the technique's going to be to lay it on. Don't try and damp the tissue. I'll lay it on like that. Two very gentle puffs. Some tissue you'll find is stronger than other tissues, so something to be aware of. This is going okay. Right, I'm going to say not over brush it. I know it's only a small panel and therefore, you know, not much chance of it wrinkling, but don't over brush it. I will try trimming it at this stage. I can't turn it over. It's all there, but just try and prevent it tearing. Jerk it along. Yes, it's a little at the end of the world. I'm just pushing my luck, really. Be careful with this tissue. Can't play with it too much. Look at the back there. There we are. Nice. That was easy. Probably got less. It doesn't look as well soaked as this one does for I did lay it on a bit, I suppose, but it's hard to tell what's wet and what isn't because it's wet anyway. I'll do a few more of these parts and then I'll be able to turn it over. If I wet it, will it go down enough on this side, or is it going to do that and give me wrinkles all the way around? This is the question. Or will it, if I cut this out, will it just sort of lay flat? Be nice if I can do it all in one. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's try, and I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to cut all the way around and wet it, and we'll see what happens. No going back now. Not strictly true, I haven't wet it yet, but let's give it a go. Okay, here we go. Fingers crossed, eh? I can take that one off probably on the start and sort of work my way around. So here we go. In fact, while the brush has got no glue on it, let's give it a go. So it's wrinkling, and I didn't want that to happen. I might have got the wrinkles out there, but have I just moved them across to the next section? This is the thing. Maybe the technique would be to sort of lay it down like this. Might go. If it all went like that, that's superb. I'll tell you what, I'm going to spray the back of it. And we'll just sort of lay it on down. I think it's working, guys. I think it's working. Thing is, this saves a lot of messing about if you do it in one, and it also means I can avoid all the sort of joins. That looks absolutely stunning. Yeah, I think it was a good idea to cut out this centre section. Even then, it's holding it up. Look. So I'll trim that back in a moment. Oh boy, that just looks fantastic. Oh. So the idea of the water is just to do this, just to get it sitting down nice and controlled. And then in a moment I'm going to brush the varnish into it. Oh boy, pretty pleased with that, I've got to say. Right, okay, shall we go for, let's just go on the top, I think. Might just nick this while I'm at it. Although it's tearing it, it won't matter, it's all going to come off. Right, let's get going. So being water-based varnish, you see, it just soaks straight through the water I've just put on and bonds everything together. That is absolutely gorgeous, guys. A little tiny wrinkle there, but nothing. Right, let's get some pardon me, let's get some varnish on and get it drying. Just soak the brush a bit. Start the same place. Purpose of the varnish is to basically stick the tissue to the Doculum, which it will do very well indeed. It's going to look fantastic when all the rigging's on, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. I think the model in the magazine, the guy built it. This was going back to the 80s, I think, but he built it and he covered it in an iron-on film, red and yellow or something. Just doesn't do the aeroplane justice one little bit. I think he was in more of a hurry to build it for the magazine article, but there's no reason to copy it now. I'm pleased I took a gamble on it and did it in one. That was good. Because the other reason you dope it is to seal the pores in the tissue itself. And whilst this varnish won't seal the pores, it doesn't need to, because with the Doculum underneath it's absolutely airtight. There are a couple of wrinkles appearing, but they will settle back down, so we'll leave those. I'll just go and wash the brush out. Oh, it's a lovely colour. It looks so much like the real linen. There you go, guys. Just thought I'd show you the second half of the wings done now. So that's all the flying surfaces done. Just got the fuselage over there to do, and it'll be covered. And I can start assembling things. That's going to be exciting. Okay, to help me get around the curves, I've dampened the tissue in advance. Now this is going to be sprayed silver or painted silver, whichever, and any creases I get in the tissue I can sand out when it's dry, so it's not the end of the world. Trying to push it into the corners before it grabs on the fuselage side, because I'll just push holes in the tissue if it grabs on the fuselage side. Again, not the end of the world as it's going to be painted, but it's nice to try and get it perfect. Just give it a little shimmy to get it in there. just not too bad. Hardly any wrinkles at all around there. Tissue is kind of funny old stuff. It sort of stretches if you're really careful. Okay. Yeah, not too bad. I just read a comment on part 9 from, I think it was from Ronald Rose. Hi Ron. Said that to give you a more vintage look on the tissue, what he does is to use pre-soak the tissue using coffee granules spray, like I'm spraying water on here. You'd spray coffee water onto it and it would darken it quite a lot, which it would. So it's a good tip there, Ron. Cheers, mate. Although I did suggest that being a British aeroplane, perhaps I ought to stain it with tea. These strips down here were my idea because there's actually nothing, the fin will glue to the cross pieces, but if there's nothing to glue the tissue to, it's just going to flap about. So it serves the dual purpose of something to glue the tissue to, and at the same time something for the Doculum to stick to as well. I might try the other technique of cutting this, and that's where you get a little piece of sandpaper, or in this case a nail file. So scoop that up, and you just file it on the very edge. Depending on how dry it is, I don't know if it's going to work. Give it a little tug. There we go. Okay, so that will just pull off. And if it doesn't, if you come across a bit that's a little bit resistant, just give it a little bit more of a right there. And the beauty of this is it leaves a sort of a straight hard edge like this. You've got just a grainy edge, which will blend into the side tissue a lot better. Trying to take it around the corner a little bit, so when I put the side on and do the same, I'll take it around this side. I should end up with a sort of an overlap of fibres. Okay, so that's the underneath done. I'm going to do the sides in exactly the same way, and then I'll come back to you. Have a look. I've now completed the fuselage. Looking very smart, very pleased. I've got everything's completed now, so the door's done. They can go over there. The little piece that goes in front of the pilot, which way around does it go? That way, is done. It's like a slipstream type thing. I'm just going to cut out the back of the get the right one where the fin goes. When I cut a slot out like this, I don't go right to the corner because the whole lot collapses and you can't cut the other side properly. So I always leave a little bit short, and then I can go. It helps, sort of holds everything up, get you going. There we go. Oh, it's a lovely fit, isn't it? That's rather smart, doesn't it? Just for a bit of fun. Should we put the bottom one in, see how that looks? Where are we going? There? Oh yeah. Look at that. Fabulous. Very pleased with that. It goes on there. It's a snug fit because of the tissue. Look at that for a fuselage. Wow, man. Look at that. Whew, beautiful. This foam is very good, and because I can take this off, it'd be easy enough to cut through the foam, wouldn't it? If I need to remove the servo. I'm going to try the foam. It's very sticky. I did mark a pencil line around here where it's going to go, which is there. Something else I've done is to swamp the area with CA just to seal all the wood, because sometimes sticking onto, if I use foam, it doesn't stick too well if it's just wood. But I have pencil lined around there, so in theory I should be able to get that on in the exact place, which is there. Before I get too carried away though, I do have to pop outside and spray all these parts. It won't take long to dry either. A little bit of matte lacquer just to give it a coating. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to get my matte lacquer out, spray all the components, let it dry, and continue with the assembly. When I've got the assembly a little bit done, maybe gluing the wings on, starting to get the rigging in, I'll come back to you. All right. This is 3M foam, PE foam tape. It is very sticky, I've got to say. 3M, because it's a quality product. Now, probably only going to get one go at this, so let's just put it over there. That is really, really stuck. That is going nowhere unless I knife it off. I'm doing this now because once the wing's on, this is going to be upside down with rigging on, so this is the time to do it. Okay, that's one servo in, so all I have to do is make up a push rod and set it up about 5mm, and we got ourselves an aileron. That's better. Clip it in like that, and there we are. And I'm going to test it. We'll see it moving for the very first time. Okay, here we go. So it doesn't require a lot of movement. In fact, at full movement it probably won't go that far. Turn it over. That'll be neutral. It might be up a little bit too far actually. Right, that's neutral. Yeah. So I'm going to do the other one, and then I'll see you back here, and we'll do a next little piece of progress. All right, just offering the wings up, and they fit where they touch. So I have to push these down, thread it down the fuselage, and bring it up to the top. Okay, that's one down. So now when I plug the wing in, I plug it in, push it through. I'll probably put some tape around it, or I will. And that would be that. So we'll just wrap the other one in and I'll be back to you. Right, that's both cables down and clear of the pull-pull system. I think I want to put both wings on at the same time to make sure everything's level. So I'm going to take the model into the kitchen and do it on the breakfast bar, where I can prop things up and get everything perfect. And I'm going to epoxy them in, and then when they're in, I can come back out here and we can start looking at the rigging. Okay, wings are on and epoxied. The fit is as good as I could get it. I suppose it's not too bad. Looks mighty sweet. Very pleased with it, very happy with it, very delighted. All these lovely descriptive words. I love the elevons, I think they look fantastic. I hope they're not vulnerable. Looks fantastic. I had to put a weight on that corner because that wing was bouncing up because it's got a slight warp in it with the covering. But now when I get the rigging on, I've got to treat it very carefully just to make it a bit brighter. Can I? There we go. When I get the rigging on it, I shall fasten it and it will be functional. Cool. Right, I've been playing with the rigging. It's not tight, it's just threaded in, but I had to work out, can you see that? I had to work out the rigging pattern. This was my third attempt, but it works okay. So it's looking pretty good overall. Let me pan back a bit. It'll be hard to see in this picture actually, but it's not tight. I want to do the other side and then adjust it, but I'm really happy with that. Very happy with that actually. It's gone on lovely. The string itself is just my black string, which I've drawn through silver paint, and it's made it look like wire. But yeah, pretty. It's not tight, but even now, if I wobble the wing, you can see it tensions up here and there. So when it is nice and tight, it's going to really be functional. You might notice the pilot's sitting there now. Yeah, so there we are. I think we'll draw this part 10 to completion, and part 11 is going to be really short, just finishing the final assembly and getting everything working. And who knows, I may even be able to trundle it around the garden. We'll see how long the grass is. It might not go on my grass with the small wheels, but we'll see. Really happy with what I've done so far. I think it looks great. It was really vintage, doesn't it? Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in part 11 for completion and a final assembly and everything else. And then after that, it's just going to be the maiden flight, which I think is going to go really well. but we'll see. Be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss this one. Thanks guys. Cheers.